Welcome to our deep dive into Carl Sagan's Cosmos.
Oh, Cosmos, a classic.
It really is. It's a journey through the universe, kind of blending science and philosophy.
Right, and it started as a companion to his super popular TV series.
Yeah, which is how a lot of people first encountered him.
Exactly.
And the book itself got some pretty amazing praise. The Associated Press, they called it a dazzling blend of science and philosophy.
Catchy. I like that.
And then Cosmopolitan, they said it's even more thrilling than anything by Jules Verne or H.G. Wells.
High praise indeed.
So we're going to try and capture the essence of Cosmos for you today. Like its grand vision, the thought-provoking questions it raises, all that good stuff.
The big questions. I'm ready.
Well, it all kind of started with Sagan's experience on the Viking Mars mission.
Oh, right. He was so excited to be exploring another planet, but he got kind of frustrated with the media.
Yeah, it seemed like they were more focused on finding another Earth than appreciating, the wonder of what they were actually seeing on Mars.
Exactly. And that frustration actually inspired him to create Cosmos, both the TV show and the book.
He really wanted to make science accessible, exciting for everyone.
He did a great job of it, too, that's for sure.
And he dedicated the book to the idea that people are far more intelligent than they're given credit for, and that science is, well, not just key to our survival, but can actually be a source of delight.
It's true. Science can be pretty awesome when you really get into it.
Absolutely. So how about we dive into some of the big ideas he explores?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, well, he has this incredible way of describing the universe that just captures your imagination.
Oh, yeah, he was a master of that.
Billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars.
And potentially as many planets as stars. Kind of blows your mind, doesn't it?
It really does. Makes you wonder, what are the chances that Earth is the only inhabited world?
Right. It seems almost impossible.
And he uses these amazing analogies, to help us grasp these huge concepts. He compares galaxies to, lovely found objects like seashells.
I love that. It's such a simple image, but so effective.
It really is. And when he talks about life's origins, he points to the abundance of organic molecules just floating around out there in space.
It's like the ingredients for life are everywhere.
Exactly. And he suggests that, given enough time, life emerging might not be a fluke, but almost like a cosmic inevitability.
It makes sense when you think about it that way. Like, it's not a matter of if, but when and where.
Right. And then he gets into this idea that we're only studying life as we know it here on Earth.
True.
What if there are other forms of life out there with totally different, he calls it music, like a different kind of biological music?
I like that analogy.
It's kind of poetic, isn't it?
It is, and it makes you realize how limited our perspective might be. We're looking for life that fits our definition, but what if it's something completely different?
Right, something we can't even conceive of yet. And then he brings up the story of the hike crab.
Oh, yeah, the samurai crab.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's a great example of how even human actions can unintentionally drive evolution.
Like, the fishermen would throw back any crabs with shells that resembled samurai faces out of respect for this drowned emperor.
Right.
And that artificial selection actually led to those crabs becoming more and more common over time.
It's incredible. So imagine what nature can achieve through natural selection, operating over millions and millions of years.
I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of rapid evolution, he mentions an experiment where a significant evolutionary change was observed in fruit flies within just one generation.
Wow, within one generation. That's amazing.
So, Cosmos isn't just about this vast, mind-boggling universe. It's also a journey through the history of how we've come to understand it.
It's like a detective story figuring out the secrets of the universe.
Exactly. So, Sagan takes us all the way back to ancient Greece, to Eratosthenes, who calculated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy, using just the tools that were available to him back then.
That's impressive. I mean, no computers, no satellites, just his brain and some basic observations.
It's incredible what they were able to figure out.
Yeah.
And that discovery actually sparked a wave of exploration across the globe.
People wanted to see for themselves, right? To map out this world they now knew was round.
It must have been an exciting time.
Yeah.
And then there's Alexandria, this amazing city known for its intellectual life.
Oh, yeah, the Library of Alexandria, a legendary place.
It housed countless scrolls, like a treasure trove of knowledge.
And one of those scrolls was by Aristarchus of Samos, who, way before Copernicus, proposed that the sun was at the center of the solar system.
Can you believe that? Centuries ahead of his time.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
And tragically, the Library of Alexandria was destroyed. It's considered a major setback for scientific progress.
Just imagine all the knowledge that was lost. It's heartbreaking.
It really is. We can only speculate about what we might know today if those texts had survived.
Like, who knows what scientific mysteries we could have already solved?
Right. And Sagan discusses other key thinkers, too, like Democritus, the guy who came up with the atomic theory,
Oh, yeah, way back then.
and Anaxagoras. He did all these early experiments trying to figure out how things worked.
He was kind of a pioneer of the scientific method.
He was. And then there were the Pythagoreans, who were all about mathematical harmonies in the universe.
They were obsessed with numbers, weren't they? Trying to find patterns and ratios everywhere.
They were. And while their ideas were influential, their focus on pure thought over experimentation actually ended up hindering scientific progress for quite a while.
Interesting. So they kind of got stuck in their heads a bit.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until much later that figures like Kepler, who was initially obsessed with finding the perfect geometrical model for planetary motion, actually started to challenge those old ideas.
So he was trying to fit the universe into these perfect shapes.
He was. But his dedication to the observational data, what he was actually seeing, led him to abandon the idea of perfectly circular orbits.
Oh, right, because the planets don't actually move in perfect circles, do they?
They don't. He had to embrace the reality of elliptical orbits.
Which was a pretty big deal at the time.
It was. And it was a pivotal moment in the history of science. It showed the power of letting the data guide our understanding, even when it challenges our preconceived notions.
It's a good lesson for all of us, I think.
It is. And then, of course, there's Newton, who gave us the law of gravity.
But he also had this kind of strange fascination with alchemy.
Yeah, that's right. And he even conducted these dangerous experiments, like staring directly at the sun.
Ouch. Not a good idea.
Not at all. And speaking of peculiar events, Sagan also discusses the Tunguska event in Siberia.
Oh, yeah, that huge explosion.
It's thought to have been caused by a fragment of comet egg colliding with Earth.
It's a reminder that these cosmic events can happen and they can be incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. And he even mentions this fascinating account from a 12th century monk named Gervase of Canterbury. He may have actually witnessed a lunar impact from Earth.
Wow, that would have been something to see.
It would have been incredible. So, the universe is a dynamic place, constantly evolving, and things are happening all the time.
It makes you feel pretty small, doesn't it?
It does. But it also makes you feel kind of connected to this grand cosmic story.
Yeah, I get that. Like we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. So moving from historical accounts to, modern day space exploration, Sagan highlights these robotic missions like the Voyagers. They gave us incredible close-ups of Jupiter and its moons.
Those images were stunning.
They were. And each of those moons, they're all unique. And their surfaces, they actually hint at past cosmic catastrophes that shaped them.
Like ancient collisions and volcanic eruptions.
It's amazing to think about. And then, of course, there's the golden record attached to each Voyager spacecraft.
Oh, yeah, the message in a bottle to the cosmos.
It's carrying music, greetings in different languages, images of Earth, even DNA. All of this sent out into the vastness of space.
Just in case, right. Just in case someone out there finds it.
Exactly. It's a testament to our desire to reach out and connect with the cosmos, even if we may never know if anyone is listening.
I think it's a beautiful gesture, a sign of hope and curiosity.
It is. And then, of course, there's Mars. It's this planet that has captured humanity's imagination for centuries.
It's the red planet, our next-door neighbor.
And Sagan contrasts these early kind of flawed observations by Percival Lowell. He thought he saw canals on Mars.
Oh, the canals. That turned out to be a big misunderstanding.
It did. But it shows how our imagination can sometimes run wild.
For sure. And those early ideas really shaped how people viewed Mars for a long time.
They did. But then, spacecraft missions revealed the reality of Mars.
Which is still pretty amazing, even without canals.
It is. And then there were the Viking landers, which actually landed on Mars and searched for signs of life.
The results were kind of ambiguous, aren't they?
They were. And it sparked all these debates about the nature of life itself, like what even counts as life.
And whether the findings could be explained by, non-biological processes.
It's a really complicated question, but it highlights the challenges of searching for life beyond Earth. We may not even recognize it when we see it.
It's true. Our definition of life is based on what we know here on Earth. What if life elsewhere is completely different?
That's one of the big mysteries, isn't it? And Sagan introduces this concept of the Encyclopedia Galactica, this hypothetical repository of knowledge from all civilizations in the galaxy. Imagine that.
Like a cosmic library. That would be incredible.
He would. And he compares it to the decipherment of hieroglyphics, when we were finally able to unlock the secrets of an ancient civilization.
It would be a similar kind of breakthrough, wouldn't it? Decoding a message from an alien civilization.
It would be a monumental event. It would mean we are not alone.
And that we could learn from other intelligent beings.
It's a tantalizing thought. But then, of course, we have the Fermi paradox. If there's so many potential civilizations out there, why haven't we found any evidence of them yet?
The big question, where is everybody?
It's a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for decades. And Sagan explores various explanations, some more optimistic than others.
Like maybe we're truly alone, at least for now.
Right. Or perhaps other civilizations have chosen to avoid contact with us, either out of caution or because they've transcended our level of development.
They're out there, but they're just not talking to us.
Or maybe we haven't figured out how to listen properly yet.
That's a possibility, too. We're still pretty new to this whole space exploration thing.
We are. And Sagan actually uses the example of the French explorer, La Perouse, who encountered Native Americans in Alaska.
Interesting. What's the connection there?
Well, it's a reminder that even first contact between cultures here on Earth can be fraught with misunderstanding.
Oh, I see. It's a cautionary tale. Like, even if we do find another civilization, things might not go smoothly.
Exactly. There's potential for both cooperation and conflict.
We need to be prepared for that.
We do. And then there's the whole question of what extraterrestrial life would even look like.
Right. We tend to think of aliens as these humanoid creatures, but that's probably not very realistic.
It's probably not. It's likely to be very different from anything we can imagine.
Like, what if it's something totally bizarre, something that doesn't even fit our definition of life?
I mean, Sagan describes some pretty wild hypothetical creatures. Like, what if there's life in the clouds of Jupiter?
Oh, yeah, the floaters.
He imagines these massive balloon-like organisms drifting through the turbulent Jovian skies.
It's mind-blowing, the possibilities.
It really is. And it kind of makes you realize how little we know and how much is still out there to discover.
That's the beauty of science, isn't it? There's always more to learn.
Always. And Cosmos constantly emphasizes the importance of scientific thinking. It's not just about memorizing facts.
It's about questioning, exploring, being open to new ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And never losing that sense of wonder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about, just the sheer scale of things.
It really is.
How much we've learned.
And how much is still out there to discover.
Right.
That sense of wonder. It really comes through in Cosmos.
And Sagan emphasizes that science isn't just about, cold, hard facts.
It's not just about memorizing equations.
Right. It's a way of thinking,
Yeah.
a way of questioning the world around us.
Yeah, he uses vivid imagery and storytelling to bring these complex ideas to life.
He does.
Like when he describes the possibility of life in the clouds of Jupiter.
Oh, yeah.
These floaters, as he calls them.
These massive balloon-like organisms.
Completely unlike anything we know on Earth.
Right.
It really challenges our assumptions about what life could look like elsewhere in the universe.
It does, for sure.
And then he takes us on this journey through the history of science, highlighting both the triumphs and the setbacks.
Right.
He talks about the ancient library of Alexandria.
Oh, yeah.
This treasure trove of knowledge that was tragically lost.
It's a shame we lost it.
And the long shadow it cast on scientific progress.
Yeah, if only we still had it.
It makes you wonder what mysteries we could have unlocked by now,
Who knows, right?
if that library had survived.
Imagine.
It's a reminder of the fragility of knowledge
It is.
and the importance of preserving and sharing what we learn.
Yeah, sure.
But despite those setbacks, Sagan reminds us that human curiosity and ingenuity.
You've always pushed us forward.
Yeah, he highlights the work of scientists like Eratosthenes
Who calculated the Earth's circumference.
with remarkable accuracy,
Yeah, and Aristarchus of Samos.
who dared to suggest a heliocentric model of the solar system centuries before Copernicus.
Way ahead of his time.
Those early pioneers paved the way for later breakthroughs.
They did.
Sagan discusses Kepler, who struggled to reconcile his belief in perfect celestial spheres.
with the data he was collecting.
Yeah.
And eventually his commitment to the evidence forced him to abandon the idea of circular orbits.
And embrace the reality of elliptical orbits.
Exactly.
It was a pivotal moment in the history of science,
Showing the power of letting the data guide our understanding.
even when it challenges our preconceived notions.
It's a good lesson.
And then there's Newton, who revolutionized our understanding of gravity.
And also dabbled in alchemy.
It shows that even the greatest minds can have their quirks.
And that the pursuit of knowledge can take unexpected turns.
Cosmos isn't just a history lesson, though.
No, it's a call to action.
It challenges us to embrace a cosmic perspective.
To see ourselves as citizens of the universe.
Not just inhabitants of Earth.
Right.
He believes that science is not only essential for our survival,
But also a source of deep joy and wonder.
and he reminds us that the exploration of the cosmos is ultimately a voyage of self-discovery.
As we learn more about the universe, we learn more about ourselves.
Our place in the grand scheme of things.
And our potential as a species.
He raises some truly profound questions.
Like, are we alone in the universe?
If not, what are the implications of encountering another intelligent civilization?
And what is our responsibility to our planet and to each other in light of our cosmic heritage?
These are questions that continue to resonate today.
Perhaps even more so as we grapple with challenges like climate change.
And the search for life beyond Earth.
One of the most intriguing concepts Sagan introduces is the Encyclopedia Galactica.
This hypothetical repository of knowledge from all civilizations across the galaxy.
Imagine a cosmic library containing the collective wisdom of countless worlds.
A mind-blowing concept.
And it's connected to the idea of decoding messages from extraterrestrial intelligence.
Sagan compares it to the decipherment of hieroglyphics.
A moment when we unlocked the secrets of an ancient civilization.
Even the act of decoding a message, even before understanding its content, would be a profound event.
Signifying that we are not alone in the universe.
But the Fermi paradox looms large.
If the universe is so vast and teeming with possibilities, why haven't we found any definitive evidence of other civilizations?
Where is everyone?
It's a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for decades.
Sagan explores various explanations.
Some optimistic, some more sobering.
It could be that we are truly alone, at least for now.
The first civilization to reach a certain level of technological advancement.
Or perhaps other civilizations have chosen to avoid contact with us.
Either out of caution.
Or because they have transcended our level of development.
They're out there, but they're just not talking to us.
He even uses the example of the French explorer La Perouse,
who encountered Native Americans in Alaska.
It highlights how first contact, even between cultures on Earth, can be fraught with misunderstanding.
And the potential for both conflict and cooperation.
It's a reminder that our interactions with an extraterrestrial civilization, if it ever happens, would be incredibly complex.
And require careful consideration.
And then there's the question of what extraterrestrial life would even look like.
It's likely to be very different from anything we can imagine. It could be something we can't even fathom right now.
Right, like what if it's based on silicon instead of carbon or something?
Or what if it's not even matter as we understand it?
I mean, that's getting pretty far out there. But I guess it's possible.
Sagan really challenges us to expand our definition of life.
He does, beyond our eighth-centric viewpoint.
And he constantly emphasizes the importance of keeping an open mind.
Absolutely, of questioning, exploring, being open to new ideas.
Never losing that sense of wonder.
So what are some of the key takeaways from Cosmos, for you?
Well, for me, it's the importance of perspective.
Yeah.
Seeing ourselves not just as inhabitants of this one planet,
but as citizens of the cosmos.
Right, as part of something vast and ancient.
And that realization should both humble us and inspire us.
It's a powerful message that goes beyond science.
Yeah.
It touches on our place in the universe.
Our shared history.
And our responsibility for the future.
Absolutely. And Cosmos definitely leaves you with a sense of wonder and a thirst for knowledge.
It does.
It reminds us that science is not just about understanding the universe,
but also about solving the problems we face here on Earth.
And maybe, as Sagan suggests, that cosmic perspective can help us avoid self-destruction.
If we can learn to live in harmony with our planet and each other.
Perhaps we can one day join that community of galactic civilizations he envisioned.
It's a hopeful thought.
It is so if we are truly made of stardust.
And the universe is brimming with possibilities.
What does that mean for our future and our responsibility as a species?
I think that's a question we all need to ponder.
It is.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a book that will spark your imagination, challenge your assumptions, and leave you with a sense of awe and wonder, I highly recommend you check out Cosmos by Carl Sagan.
It's a classic for a reason.
It's a journey that will stay with you long after you finish the last page.